Yo, my brother, how are you?
I'm doing good, bro.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Gilbert Blanc-Senafo. I'm a full-stack software engineer. Yeah, I've been developing software for like the past 10 years-ish.
Yeah.
Probably like maybe almost half of my life. Yeah, so it's been
good.
about, yeah.
That's good. That's good. So today, this episode, we're going to be talking about tech.
Okay.
And the effects of tech in the country, So, Ghana being one of the first pioneers of tech, let's say technology in terms of the African sphere. During the 1950s, we introduced digital, communication, post office and everything. We started that in the 1950s, and the internet came in the 1990s and all that. What have we done so far in terms of these types of, have we improved or not? What do you think? What's the, what's the industry like?
Okay, so I think as it stands now, I like to describe the tech industry in Ghana as like in two parts, right? With tech, there's always the economical part. That's the infrastructure part of things. And then there's also like the human resource part of things, right? So if you take the infrastructure part of things, I would say that we are still behind, right? Because the amenities we need to empower tech, for example, you want to establish like some big tech company here. We don't even have the data center infrastructure to support it. Power is still an issue.
Yeah.
So which organization is going to set up like a huge data center here with power being an issue, right? But then because of things like social media and then learning platforms, I'll say the HR part of things is like really advancing, right? So like you have tech guys over here who are working with companies outside the country. You have tech guys here who are like, consulting with people outside the country. They are going global, right?
Okay.
But then the infrastructure part of things, the economical part of things is just not working out, right? So then it's like we are building this huge, let's say, building with like very poor foundations, right? So we're unable to like scale like crazy. Yeah.
I think as Lausu, right, is the ministry. Ministry is in charge of that.
Yeah.
For the past 8 years, as a tech guy, have you seen any improvement in your field?
No way.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like zero. It's like, what is helping us these days is the fact that, years ago, even to get access to your computer or the internet, like you need to go to like a cafe or something.
Yeah, I remember that time. To be honest, it wasn't that far back. It was like 10 years ago?
Yeah, like 10 years ago. You had to go to a cafe or something like that.
Yeah.
But now, like it's easily accessible.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But even with the introduction of Starlink, it's even made things even more easier. Accessible to in as much as it's not something that the average person will try and purchase and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, even talking about the industry, let's say in your time frame, as you said, you've been doing this for over 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
What are the good things you've seen? Because you said a lot of things. What are the improvements you've noticed, especially in the country, when it comes to the tech side of things?
I think it's with the mindset with people in tech, right? We are more open-minded to explore opportunities beyond our continent, beyond Ghana, right? So you meet lots of people practicing tech who are like looking beyond their boundaries.
Yeah.
They are trying to scale up to compete with like other tech guys outside and stuff like that. And that is like a really good thing. You also find people who are trying to like find ways and means to, to like just find solutions to existing problems. Like for example, power like this.
Yeah.
You find guys investing in their crafts. They are buying like meters, generators, just to make sure that they are on point. So like the tech people, like guys are not just sitting back and then waiting for the government to like fix things. People are like really trying to do what they can with what they have. And I feel like that's like a really big deal. Also, you find people being more daring. Okay, so guys are trying out building solutions, even though the culture of embracing tech in Ghana isn't really there. It's hard to to penetrate. People are still like, hey, now we still want to try this out.
We need to do that.
You know, building their apps and then launching it, you know, trying to spend their money. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay. And that's actually, what you said is actually very important, because what you said is more from an individual point of view, where there's not like a coalition or like an industry that is backing you guys. You guys are individually doing it by yourselves, right? And here comes my question of because Ghana is now one of the hubs where we get a lot of human resources when it comes to tech companies. Tech companies outsource most of their things, especially in Ghana, Nigeria, and other countries, right? Do we have like, let's say, a union or something that helps in the bargaining power, getting like the right amount of, let's say, deserved payment for you guys? Because we've had an instance, like, look at what happened to the Twitter people, you know, with the Meister and the rest. When Elon Musk came and shut everything down, they had to go through a lot before they got their money. There was no backing. I don't know whether they had the backing from the government and other things. Do we have that as an industry person? Let me put it that way. In that field, do you think you have that type of support? Where
absolutely
like
zero.
No support whatsoever.
there's I mean, not any of them that I know of. Like there's zero. And there are HR agencies, and even these HR agencies are not like Ghanaian.
Oh, they are owned by
they are foreign. They are foreign nationals, right? And getting into them is like really tough because like it's like just a few that people are just trying to enter.
Yeah,
there are some local ones like Andela, you know, where people can go through to, you know, get recruitments and stuff like that too. And then they help with like negotiating good salaries and then pay and stuff like that. But when it comes to things like compliance and, you know, as somebody who is standing in for the rights of, it's nothing like that.
We don't have that in the country.
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Anyway, so we've gone, let's start with the basics, right?
Okay.
The fundamentals. Do we have the right, are we equipping, let's say, the younger generation coming up, especially coming from schools and everything, are we equipping them in the tech world? Are we equipping them enough to be able to compete? Looking at, let's say, the universities, the courses, computer engineering, and so on and so forth. Are we giving them the right tools to be able to compete in this current market?
The exposure is not there. You know, myself, I use my story as an example. The way I got into tech was in JSS 1. You know, I used to. So here's the thing: the kids out there, the younger generation out there, they are exposed to the shallow parts of tech. Let me put it that way. Social media, you know, these basic things, right? Making calls, watching videos and stuff like that. But me, for example, the exposure I got, you know, this Chinese NGO came to my school when I was in like JSS 1.
Yeah.
Before that, I was like going to the cafe, browsing the internet and stuff like that. But these guys came and then they took us through like this 1 week course. And this 1 week, what they did was that it was like a workshop. They opened the PC for us, got us to dismantle it, rearrange it. They taught us like, this is the memory card, this is the hard drive, this is it. They showed us how to create things like emails and stuff like that. So like they gave us a next level type of awareness.
So you didn't draw any like computer on the board and name the parts.
It wasn't like that, right? But then the younger, so you don't give people that type of exposure. They don't even know what you're talking about. And that thing is lacking.
Yeah.
In our educational system also, it's zero, right? You go and then you're learning a mouse in it. In fact, the labs are not there.
Yeah.
The computer labs
What I find disturbing is about, because I know like we churn out how many computer engineers in this country, but and I know that when you're done with that, you have to produce an original project, right?
Yep.
And are they saying over the past how many years we started doing a computer engineering as a course, we've not found any project that is worth boosting or that is worth like, you know, investing in, that will actually push, you know, our tech industry to another level. That's the thing I find very worrisome. Right. And why is that? You're in the field. Why do you think?
You know, there's a funny thing in the uni, right? When you get to the uni and you're about to graduate in computer engineering, there's a split.
Yeah.
There's a software engineering, there's the electrical engineering, right? So you decide where you want to major.
Yeah.
Now, you realize that nobody goes to electrical engineering. Everybody goes to software engineering. Because then when you go to electrical engineering, we don't even have companies over here where you can practice or
so it's not practical to be able to.
It's not practical, right? So like that level of exposure is not there, and then you don't want to risk it. Okay, so you go to the safe side where you know that, okay, it will be easier to get opportunities over there. So unless you are a bit more forceful, have like this type of support, maybe family or personal, and then you are really eager to go into that side, then you can go there. But without it, we are not going to see any innovations on the hardware side, especially. Right? That's why most of the platforms that come, people are just building the software and then because that's what it's like. More easy to get into.
I remember when my brother, when he finished graduate and everything, for him to get a job, he had to relearn everything. I was like, what's the point of going to school and learn? But you have to relearn everything to be able to be job ready in that sense. Like, how is that possible?
You graduate and then you encounter something. It's like, so this is what I was learning. This is actually where it's practiced. Like, so there's this huge gap. I don't know. I feel like I've come to realize that education isn't really on a normal day, we are supposed to combine education with internship, lots of internships.
Of course.
Right. But then we don't get that opportunity. So you just go to
the practical side of it is not.
It's not there. Yeah, it's not there. And that is where the gap is. I feel like lack of internships is where I don't think school is enough to give you that practical thing, no matter what you do. School is a controlled environment, right? It's something you not get in the real world. So I think that part of things is heavily missing.
It's heavily missing in that. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think we should do in that sense?
Well, that one, it goes back into the infrastructure.
You need to build that. There has to be intentional, That's. But one thing I'm finding very difficult to understand is, like, I can see how the world is really running in terms of tech. That we are leaping in terms of if you look at for the past generation, right? What we've done more than the previous generations combined, even when it comes to tech.
Yeah.
We've moved now. We look at what Elon Musk is doing now. The point is, where is Ghana on that trajectory? Like when we talk about the even on the continent, right? Where is Ghana when it comes to tech innovation, tech development, and all that? I don't see any innovation happening here where you could, this is actually a good thing that can actually help people do this. Like, this is proper innovation. I don't see that. And that is very, it's worrisome. We are being left behind, which is not good. You get me? Like, where will they go? Where are we going?
I'll say, like, innovation is like a factor of three things: opportunity, right, resources, and then knowledge. All right. So we have there's the opportunity to build stuff. People are learning. People are trying to practice any way possible. In fact, we're in the knowledge era, so there's the knowledge. But the resources are not there. Right. Imagine I want to build imagine you have like a huge entrepreneur here who wants to build something like, let's say, even what Elon Musk is doing.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no financial backing. You're not getting it from anywhere. So unless you know, like, super rich politician or like there's a lot of money at home.
Yeah.
So you end up abandoning, right? So the resources part of things is just not there.
The sad part is, like, it causes this brain drain situation where most of these brilliant, tech people are leaving the country and they are bettering other people's countries.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brilliant minds that are doing really good jobs outside the country, but because of what you just said, there's no support or anything there's no environment that supports innovation. Yeah. People are leaving the country and nobody's addressing that. Talking about that, what do you call it? The MPP. What's their, what do you call it? Digitization. What do you think about that? Because I find it very vague. You are in that field. Maybe you have a different explanation to that. What have you paid attention to what they're saying in terms of that?
Yeah, I think the infrastructure, once again, is not there.
So it's just pipe dreams. You're just giving up pipe dreams.
Yeah, it's not there. Like, for example, even schools do not have computer labs. Like, that's like basic.
I mean, I said this earlier. Like, schools are literally drawing computers on the board.
Yes, exactly.
And naming them.
Yeah.
And this naming computer.
Yeah.
on the board.
Yeah.
Blackboard. It's not even whiteboard. Blackboard.
Report cards, management system. They are like your report card is still in a book. They are tearing it for you. That type of thing. So the fundamentals are weak, like he would say.
It's a problem. I think it's a problem in this digital, let's say, global world, right?
Yeah.
Where we find ourselves lacking in almost all the aspects of it.
Yeah.
And we have, if you look at all these government agencies and their so-called apps, you look at it, I was like, how is this a government website?
Millions of
we have brilliant minds in the country. Who are these people creating these websites and these apps? Are they giving it to the right people? Or is just you're just giving it to their people and just taking more money on? I don't see the innovation when it happens to that.
The procurement officer for that app doesn't even understand what goes into that app. Like, the wrong people are in their positions, right? So if I'm a procurement officer, for example, I'm in charge of getting an entity to build an app. What is my specialty? I have no knowledge. I have nothing.
So the technical know-how and it's not based on merits in that sense. It's just based on who you know.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's not based on like who is more diligent to do the thing. It's all connected up there. So so Bawumia's thing, I'd believe him more if he said, "Hey, I'm going back to the basics. I'm going into the schools. I'm going to create awareness over them." I'm like, okay.
I think the future is in tech. Everything is being digitized, so it's just AI is now taking over, and we are not even there yet. Like there's no automated anything anywhere in the country.
Bro, have you met a millennial, like people in our age range? You put a laptop in front of them, you give them a mouse. They don't know how to use a mouse.
It's worrisome. You understand?
That's like the HR we have right now. It's mad. They don't know how to use the mouse. So somebody like this, you are going to recruit a person, or what is the person going to do? And it's not their fault.
It's a problem. It's a problem. Like looking at how even take all these. Let me give an example. America has its own thing, and it's mostly global in that sense. You go to China, they're very specialized in whatever they have in the country is for China. They have their own messaging platform. They have their own like AI. They have their own things, and they are very specialized. So things are not being dictated to them in that sense. We are taking from everybody. We don't have a say in terms of what we get as a country and what we can produce to the world as well, right? Which is also a problem. Where do we lie in this? Where do you see, like, I hope you're very optimistic about the country. I hope you don't sound it anyway, but the Ghana is for it before we all.
Yeah.
You get me? We have to make sure like it gets to a point where we can brag about innovations and everything. What are you doing to contribute to that?
It's the economical level is hard.
It be hard, bro. I know lie.
It's tough. I feel like I always revert to the Maslow's theory of needs, where as a nation, right, we need to get our fundamentals together. If someone doesn't have food to eat, or somebody's business is collapsing, you can't go to the person and tell the person, I want to bring you software.
Software.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's a tricky thing, but the power is not all in our hands right now. America, actually, the VC over there, the venture capital world is mad.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
And then also, I think that as individuals, we have to start believing in ourselves. All right. Like any type of support you can give to your fellow man, they say, well, charity begins at home, right? So like you believe in people supporting any way you can. Sometimes I do a lot of work for free as well. Like I get a guy comes in, which I go, but I have this I want to do. I want this project I want to do. I was like, oh, I can't put a lot of time on this, but then I can contribute something, right? Then so we help out each other. That is the only way we go. Because aside that, I don't know. Let's see. On God.
On God. That'd be the thing, right? Like, I know we have over, God knows how many, over 100 tech startups, right? the popular ones that come in mind, the Impact Hub, what do you call it? Kumasi Hive. What's the one in Osu? What be their names, Seth? The one in the Accra Digital Center and all these places, right? That one is around Circle.
Which one? Accra Digital Center.
Yeah, it's also
there's one over there. Yeah.
We have like
Mest. There's all of these guys.
Mest is one of the leading in terms of helping people learn how to code and everything, right?
Right. Yeah.
The introduction of all these tech startups, right? I'm assuming that there's a market for these being able to get capital, right? To be able to fund your startups. I know you have your own thing going on. What is the financial situation like? Is it difficult to get funding for projects, or is it easy to get funding for projects in that sense?
It's tight.
It's tight. Right?
It's tight. Like it's like a chicken and egg thing where you need skill to secure funding, and then you also need funding to scale. Right? So VCs are not looking at you, especially you're in Africa, right? They are not looking at you because, hey, how many customers do you have now? What's your like revenue like? What's your so that they are looking for maybe millions of dollars. Then you know, oh, okay, your business has potential to scale, right? And but then you also need that funding to get to that 1 million in revenue. So then you have to self-fund.
I think the ones that I see that are really getting mostly financial support is mostly the fintechs, right? And you know, they are also one very important part to play in the whole boosting of our technological advances in the country, right? But that's the only part I see there's most investment going into.
Yeah,
you know, we can see like even talking about. I know this is a very tricky thing. People don't like it. Bitcoin's another thing.
Yeah.
There's lack of education when it comes to that.
Huge.
You know,
huge. Yeah.
Where people they know what to do.
Yeah.
With the Bitcoin, how you can even use to transact and all that.
Yeah.
We are moving to a stage where people are now moving to e-money and digital. Whether we like it or not, Bitcoin is here to stay.
Yeah. Sure.
And there's no conversation about that. There's no conversation about that in that sense, right? So how do we get to a place where we have, let's say, we know that there's a trajectory going on. When they say like Ghana, in the next 10 years, we can project that the level of people we're producing on the level of, let's say, technology we're producing, we get to a point where we can boast and say that Ghana did this, Ghana did that. Do you know anybody like that doing that?
I try, you know, but then the resources are just not there. So it's slow. So it makes the skill and then the good very slow.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because the boost is not there. And then also, like I said earlier, the awareness is not there as well. Right. So we need to do a lot of education. If you look at Apple ads from like the 90s and stuff, if you look at typical Apple ad, their ad was not what it is now.
No.
Okay. You see an Apple ad, and then in the ad, they are teaching a business owner how to type, how to use their mouse. Why is Apple do an ad like that? Okay, so you realize that they are from somewhere. Okay, we can't jump. No matter what we do, we can't jump. That is what is biting us right now.
Sad. We used to have like our own ROG in the country. I don't know where that went. Like I saw something huge happen. I was like, maybe we can, you know, we can do something with ROG, but it just went away. And I was sad about that. I don't see now we're not getting anything for this country.
Nothing.
What we get?
Absolutely nothing.
Well, what we have is the human resources that I know.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies have come. I know IBM is here. We have Google. We have all these companies. They are trying to like, you know, extract from us.
Yeah.
You know, we are not doing anything. All the type of jobs, especially the tech people are doing, especially in your field, most of them are not something that develops the country.
Yeah.
You for survive, you have to do it. And all the jobs are mainly outside. You know, you guys are being outsourced outside a lot. And good for you.
Yeah.
But as the industry as a whole, it doesn't help anybody in that sense, because we have no bond or no plan to do that anyway.
Yeah, totally. So I
Ghana,
think
we do,
that
right?
I think we can also learn a bit from the Indians, right? Like they are not all about manufacturing their own stuff. There are things that they are manufactured in India.
Yeah, of course.
But then India has decided that, hey, we will produce the best human resources for the tech world as possible.
Most of the Asian countries have started doing that.
Yeah.
You know, they specialize in one aspect.
Yeah.
And they go on that.
Like that. So at least just from that start.
But that is also, you have to have an intentional plan for that.
Yeah.
China had an intentional plan to be one of the world best, one of the world most powerful countries, right?
Yeah.
They had a plan and know that in every aspect, everybody's doing this towards that goal. And there's a goal that we need to be one of the most powerful countries in the world. So whatever they're doing, it has to be involved in that goal.
Exactly.
We don't have that as a country.
Yeah.
So be it tech, be whatever it is, there's no direction to where we're going. We don't have a national agenda.
Nothing.
Where nobody touches, regardless of whatever political party comes. Don't touch a national agenda. Make sure you're improving it and making sure that every government that comes improves that national agenda in tech or whatsoever. We don't have that in the country. So hence, anybody comes and we put people who don't deserve to be there to be there.
Yeah.
And tech is a very important thing for me. We need to improve. It's non-negotiable. Otherwise, they will leave us behind. Like, bro, people, they hack government institutions for Ghana here. And there's nobody that can do anything about it.
Nothing. As Baumia is always the fundamentals.
You're paying companies millions of dollars just to do basic things for government institutions in this country.
And then
we have people capable of doing that.
Perfectly, yeah. It's all politics, right?
How?
Yeah, it's politics. And also because we haven't sort of built good infrastructure.
Yeah.
Right now, it's affecting every plan that we try to do. So like, even the leaders come and say, in the next 5 years, we are going to train 1 million software engineers. It just falls in the water.
That's why I find the whole idea. I'm still trying to understand what they mean by digitization.
Right.
Like even the 24-hour economy, I don't really understand it. Because anyway,
what's the economy?
Anyway, they have you can explain, but yeah. Point is, the manifestos are not convincing enough for me to say that okay, this country is safe.
Yeah,
you're moving in the right direction. And nobody's talking about it.
No plan.
You are and since you're in the tech field, digitization should be something very important for people in your field.
Yeah.
I've not heard one thing that is convincing about it. It was like, we'll train 1 million people in digitization. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Like,
what did they talk about?
How are you gonna get there? What are they going to do? You know, like
what are you equipping them for? In the next 10 years, what are they going to do for the country?
Exactly.
And it's high time we talk about the brain because people they left, bro. Like
it's
everything they left the country. You understand? And I support them. Like, but as a Ghanaian, right? Sometimes you think about your Charlie, bro. You don't have anything to brag about.
Yeah, it's even with recent startups, most of them happen to be in Nigeria.
Yeah, of course.
Like Flutterwave is a Paystacks.
Flutterwave is a billion. What's it called?
Yeah, $1 billion.
Do you have $1 billion tech company?
No, there's nothing like that. Yeah.
We don't have $1 billion. We started. We are one of the pioneers of tech in Africa.
Yeah.
In the 1950s, we started doing that. To date, what do we have to prove? Like, okay, this be on a upward trajectory. We don't have an upward trajectory. Like, okay, clearly there's been improvement in tech, but those are outside that have actually affected inside.
Yeah.
Those are all inherited or like bought type of tech.
Yeah.
In our basic fields of Ghana, we don't have anything that we can tell that okay, this is how Ghana started with our tech.
Yeah.
We've improved in this and this and this and that.
Yeah. There's nothing like that. There's like you said, there's no plan.
Nah, bro.
Right. There's no plan. There's nothing. So everybody, all the leaders are just coming to do what they want to do, say what they want to say, free education, and all of these things are just.
I think,
and they set us back.
I think we the youth need to hold these people like accountable. We shouldn't be easily persuaded based on these shallow promises they give us. We need to give them, we need to hold them accountable for everything. We should demand more than the what you call basic what do you call it, amenities and everything. With bare minimum, we should ignore the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum is things that our tax money is supposed to be doing. Exactly. That is not what you're supposed. Any government comes doesn't touch a bare minimum, but they give us the bare minimums and we're happy about that.
And it will take us, like we can't. I don't know unless tech guys decide to be politicians or something like that. But then we can't do much.
I feel as if we should tech guys should be able to. I don't hear your voice, you guys. I don't feel the tech guys talking enough. And I think you guys are the future of the country.
I think that's a huge point. Yeah.
Like the world has been, if you look at the development of the world, right? We started from the natural resources world where gold and other things was like the proper and we went into industrialization. Industrialization was the new gold, and any country that didn't hop on industrialization was left behind. Now we're on the tech era. We've not even left the natural resources.
I was just about to say that. All the ages you have been left behind.
Bro, we are in the tech era. You understand? We are being left behind.
Again, the next era is gonna come.
You're being left behind. The whole country, the only place that works be Accra. You go outside, you're like, this is the future generation of the country. It's a country where over 50% of the population is young people, people. And that means we need to prepare them for the next generation.
So much opportunity just going to waste. So much. Man.
Anyway, let's conclude this. I'm just like thinking about this. This makes me laugh. Let's conclude this. What would be, if given the opportunity, let's say hypothetically speaking, what kind of solutions do you think we need to implement to put, let's say, Ghana on a certain trajectory to higher upgrade or higher development in the tech field?
I feel like the first thing I would tackle is education. Like get education right.
Yeah.
Get the knowledge right. Get people, embed knowledge into like the younger generation. Let them know what's up.
Practical knowledge.
Exactly. Get it. And then try supporting the private sector.
That's very
people that
important.
Are taking the risk to actually start something, give them the push. Okay, whatever. Sometimes it's not even all about the money.
It shouldn't be politicized too.
Exactly. Sometimes they exposure. Sometimes there's this business somewhere they're doing like really good things. It's not even money that they need. They need a bit of exposure. Okay, the media houses should push.
We should support innovation.
Exactly.
We should support
stuff
innovation.
Like that should go, or they can really go a long way to help.
Exactly.
For real.
But at the end of the day, Ghana we did, right?
Ghana we did for sure, bro.
We have to be hopeful.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Charlie, what's the point?
I'm a bit pessimistic.
I do understand that bit. As a young Ghanaian, I do understand what you mean by that. But we have no choice but to be hopeful. Because if there's no place like home. I keep on telling people, you can always be home and feel like you belong in your own country.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to make sure that this country is good and comfortable for us in the next generation.
Yeah,
I don't want my kids to be in an era where I don't want them to be in this era.
Yeah, man.
You understand? But my guy, Ghana we did again.
Ghana we did.
All right, bro. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, bro, for having me. All right. Okay.